Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. It is Friday, so if you work a regular Monday, normal, Monday to Friday kind of job, it's the best day of the week for everyone. I like Fridays anyway, even though I work every day of the week. But as you guys are coming in, if you could just do me a quick favor and just like the video. That way it does get sent out into the algorithm. That way more people can come and enjoy it. Also, if you guys wouldn't mind just double checking to make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you want to be subscribed. Sometimes YouTube, I guess, will have a funny way of unsubscribing people and then subscribing them back. And I just want to make sure everybody's subscribed. Also, if you want to become a member of our channel, I'm going to put that in the chat. I think I have it. Yeah, I actually have it ready. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to drop the link here in a little bit also, if anyone wants to come up. And we can kind of do an open panel this evening. Or if you guys just want to listen, either way, I have a ton to tell you. We're going to be discussing the Idaho 4 murders that happened in November. As you guys know, the backstory, I am sure. If there's anybody in the chat that doesn't know the backstory and that needs to hear it, let me know, and we will give you a quick rundown. But I think everybody kind of knows at this point what we're talking about when we talk about it. So I thought I would actually start the live with a positive note. So if you guys haven't seen my community post, I have been posting on the community tab all day today. I feel like I don't think I've posted that much on the community tab since I've had it. And so I posted, I don't even know what all I posted, but I was just posting some things, and this was one thing that I posted. So yesterday, if you guys were in the live yesterday evening, there was a little boy by the name of JJ Rowland, Joshua Rowland. He was 2 years old. He was seen outside of his home, and then the little boy wandered off. That's what, the sheriff and everybody kind of thought, that this boy had wandered off. So last night I brought it up in the live, and he was found today. So I went to bed last night and I felt so guilty. I even told Vincent, I said, it's hot there, but it's still, he's 2 years old. Like, I'm like, what if it's too hot? Because like here it's cold, so I'm like, I would be like freaking out because it'd be too cold. But I did put it on my community tab. Actually, I thought I had, because I have it up there for something else, so to show you. So this little boy's got little buggy bites everywhere, but they did find him. So I'll show you the picture of him first, and then I'll play this little video for you guys. So I just thought that was something exciting that I can come and tell you guys. It's not every day that we get a good outcome, where like he's found, he's bitten, but his dad's holding him here, and his dad was beyond excited to have his boy back. So you could see all the little, he just was in everything. I'm really surprised that he didn't have like more briars and stuff like on his little hair because it's so curly. But yeah, I mean, I I'm a sucker. Okay. So I'm a sucker for, apparently I am, for grown men that cry or something about kids. And like, cause the sheriff's department, the way that like, you know, those officers, when they do find the children or, you know, they find them either like if they're, you know, unharmed or they're harmed, they always just come on and they're so, for the most part, you know, you can see the emotions behind it. And you could definitely see the emotions behind the sheriff that was leading the search in this case. He had to kind of step away. He was like, okay, that's like all for now. Like you could tell he was starting to choke up. And I was just like, oh my Lord. So a gentleman, that's what I was going to show you, because a gentleman actually found him. It was like one of the volunteers that just was there. So it wasn't an officer that found him. And I just thought that was really awesome. I haven't seen this interview with the volunteer who found him yet. So I was going to play it with you guys. And then we will start with the Idaho 4. Because I have some other good news that's Idaho 4 related. Well, I have actually a couple of things that are good news, but I have one that's like super good.
Folks, this is Roy Link. He's one of our volunteers and actually the volunteer who found Joshua today. So he can tell you what, he'll answer any questions you have for him.
Okay, basically, I guess I was just out here like everybody else, you know, volunteering for the search. I actually had my boat hooked up to my truck this morning. I was going fishing. Something told me, no, got to do this. So I was, you know, in the right place at the right time. Like I said, I'm a former Marine, but also I'm a former county employee. 32 years with Hernando County Parks Department as a supervisor. And just all this stuff, you know, I knew Ernie Weaver Park real good, so I came in from that direction and headed south. And I went across a field of grass. I came up on some woods, and I listened good. I heard like a whimpering kind of noise, and at that point I was like, there's no other kids here, it's got to be JJ. So sure enough, I went in the woods, and about 100 feet from where I was at, I think he was in some stickers. There's a lot of stickers and all there, but he was happy to see me. You know, he put his hands up, and he was real happy. And then he wanted mom. He started hollering for mom. But the deputy showed up. I guess I made a friend real quick because he hung on to me. He didn't want to go to anybody, you know, until his parents showed up. So it's just a blessing in disguise. You know, it could have been anybody here, but you know, you gotta thank the Lord. That's number one.
Just what was your reaction, you know, being a part of the search, something that you originally didn't have planned to do, and then
Right.
seeing, you know, that little boy?
Yeah, it you know, it's so many emotions, I guess, you know. I would say who wouldn't get emotional, you know, with that situation, but I was just so happy I found him, so happy he was alive and well, you know, and just seeing the parents reunited with him, and I just couldn't ask for a better day, a better outcome, and I'm just pleased with all these people that showed up. You know, it could have been anybody, just happened to be me.
What was the look on his face when he saw you?
He seemed, he wasn't smiling, but he was happy. And he put his hands up in the air for me to come get him, you know. So I was calling his name, and I just started saying, your mom's coming, because I didn't want to scare him. But that didn't seem to scare him. He was happy when I picked him up. And like I said, I think he was in some briars, so he didn't want to go any further. But he was standing up, and he looked like he'd been hiking for a while, so maybe he'll end up being my hiking buddy when he gets older. Yeah.
Does it shock you how a 2-year-old could survive out there for 24 hours?
It is. It really is. Yes. You know, you probably wouldn't find a lot of adults that would stay out there in the middle of the night. And, you know, who knows what's out there. I mean, we have, you know, coyotes and bobcats and that type of stuff. And but I'm sure being 2, he had to be scared, you know, especially during the night. But he seemed in good spirits. He, you know, he wasn't, didn't seem to be any danger. You know, I saw the scratches on his legs and his arms, and, you know, I took a picture with me and his family, his parents and him, and he was just happy. He was happy, happy to be back.
How thankful are you that, you know, instead of going on that fishing trip this morning, you decided to spend your time searching for this son?
Yeah, I'm very thankful. You know, it's I think a lot of people here probably felt the same way, you know. And I don't know, I figured I'd go fishing anytime, but you know, I need to come out and help everybody. And I know the area good, being a third generation here in Brooksville. I've got this county pretty figured out, so it was just great, you know. Sure, the Lord told me to be here.
Did you speak to his parents at all?
I did, yes. I was in the ambulance with them, and they insisted on taking a picture with me, and of course they hugged me, the whole family, grandma, cousins, everybody. And you know, like I said, you know, it's just my lucky day, you know, our lucky day, I should say. It's everybody's lucky day, and I'm just glad I was a part of it.
And what exactly did you say that you heard that made you walk in that direction where you found
It was almost a whimpering noise, but he didn't really seem to be crying. It was almost like the verge of crying, but he was just kind of making some childhood noises, you know, nothing like he wasn't screaming or crying that he had any major problems. And as soon as he see me, you could almost see him light up, you know. And as soon as I seen him and his hair, I'm like, that's him. And so of course I jumped on 911, and it's kind of hard because I was trying to, you know, keep him calm, you know, instead of trying to. So another gentleman, I yelled at him and said, I got him. So he come and I gave him my phone and said, you know, will you talk to 911? So that's kind of where we're at. Within minutes, we were loaded with deputies, and you know, everybody was just thrilled to death that I've seen that this ended so good, you know, really.
Can you describe the area kind of around him?
Yeah, you know where I went. I came into a real wooded area over at Ernie Weaver Youth Park, which is just north of here. And I come through, and then I come to a big pasture, kind of like the one right behind you. And, you know, there's different areas that you could go. I looked to the right, and I could see Cobb Road, the truck route down here. So I decided to go straight, and off to one side, I seen a couple things they use on fields for fertilizing, big water tanks and all they use. And I was like, well, let me go check that, make sure he's not around there, you know. So I did. I came back over to where I was at, and here I'm trying to decide which way to go. And I kind of looked in an area as though this is where I'm going, and that's where I heard him. And he was 100 feet away is about it. And so, you know, I'm sure everybody here was wishing somebody found them. I just happened to be the guy. So, you know, I'm no hero or nothing else. It just was my lucky day.
Like found a friend, huh?
Oh yeah, yes, for sure. Yep, I got to meet back up with him. But
Thanks for talking.
we're good. Sure, absolutely, absolutely. Y'all take care.
I just thought that was so sweet, and I wanted to bring that up before we got started with everything. Man, it could have went a lot of different ways, but that little boy must have been resourceful last night. I mean, he's probably made a fort before, you know, in the house, so he probably just got under a tree maybe and went to sleep. I mean, he had to have been tired because I heard that he walked pretty far, like he was found pretty far away. Not like, I mean, I don't think it was like extremely far, but you know, pretty far away. So he probably was just walking, and then he got lost. It's so crazy. And kids are fast, and they're like, ooh. My parents, one time they left me, I think I've told you guys this story. My parents left me in a Rite Aid drugstore one time in the 80s. They just got in the car and they went to turn, like, you know, to reverse. And my dad was like, we're missing our kid. And I was in the toy aisle. They said they came back in, and I was in the toy aisle, and I was just on the floor, like playing with toys, but they left me in the store. So I guess it does happen, because my parents were really good parents. They really were good parents. I think they just got distracted. And, you know, yeah, you could tell little man was definitely an athlete. And he was just so happy. And like when he said he was just so happy, he just wanted to be held. And then, you know, as soon as he was held by that guy, he probably didn't want to go to anyone else until he saw his mom. But can you imagine when he saw his mom? Oh my God. There should be a video of that sometime, like out, you know? So no, that's what we were like thinking about. Like we were thinking about alligators and all of that, because we were thinking, you know, the woods, and it was in the woods, but that's just insane. Oh yeah, his feet were kind of clean, weren't they? I didn't know if I had a little picture. Oh, I don't have a picture of his feet. Yeah, I don't have a picture of the bottom of him. I just have a picture of him. They might have wiped him down though, before they took pictures or something. I'm not sure. let me see what else I was going to show you. Okay, so I just want to like close some of these things because I got like so many tabs open. So the parents were inside the house. Yeah, right. So I guess what happened was they were laying down or something along those lines. You know, it was one of those times where it was like, you know, you probably shouldn't have done something and then you did it, but you didn't think this would happen. One of those things. I think they were laying down for like a nap or something, maybe along those lines. Maybe they even had him in the bed with them. And he got out of the house somehow, and a neighbor saw him around 10:40 in the yard playing. And then by 11 a.m., the mom woke up and realized that he wasn't there, was looking for him for about an hour approximately, I heard. And then she called the police. And then the police were like on it. Volunteers were on it. People, drones, helicopters, infrared. I mean, all of it. Florida doesn't mess around. Yeah, gators. Hey, Princess Mega Elsa. So I do have, and the sheriff said this today, and I thought this was cute. Because I wonder how much they're like the parents need to get as much information if they can out of him, like right now, you know, when he retains it, and write it down for when he gets older. So he could tell his kids and his grandkids like about his little night out in the woods. I think it's a good story. It had a good happy ending, and it could have went, you know, the opposite. It could have went a really, really bad way. So keeping on the trend of babies, I don't know if you guys saw my community post, but let me see if I can go back. Miss Olivia Gonzalez, which is, you know, Kaylee Gonzalez's sister. They had their baby. She was pregnant. I don't know if you guys remember. There wasn't a lot of pictures where you could see. I think she mentioned it maybe once that she was pregnant. But look at Mr. Gonzalez. He's lost a lot of weight, it looks like. But look at that baby, little baby girl. And the middle name is, so her name is Theodora, which I think that's so pretty. And her middle name is Maddie K, which reminds me of Maddie May almost. You saw it on post on the Facebook page? Yeah, that's where I saw it too. And I was like, oh, this family needed this. Yes, they did. Like, look at, oh my Lord. I don't know if I can, because I have like this like a picture. No, I can't zoom in on the her mom, but like her mom is she's just looking at the whole baby's face. Like she's pulling the blanket down just a little bit so she can see the whole baby, and like she wants to see the characteristics. You can tell, you can just tell. So perfect. So yeah, Theodora. Isn't that like the cutest? Yeah, and then she put in Maddie and Kaylee's name. Maddie K. I thought that was so pretty. So she could go by, I mean, and there's so many names that you can go by in that name, like for short, Theo, Dora, Maddie K. Maddie K. There's just like, yeah. Like I feel like that's like this family needed it. Out of all the families that this family did, because this family, they just needed this. They needed something to take care of. Mr. Gonzalez needs something to take care of, and you know, put his energy towards. And look at how happy he is. Makes me just sit. It gave me goosebumps when I saw it. So I wanted to bless your evening with this because this was just so good. This was too good not to share. So let me see here. What else do we have? Okay, so I do have these. So I'm going to drop this link and then I'm going to give you guys a Justin update. Because, you know, it wouldn't be alive if we didn't talk about him, it seems like. But it's actually, it's a funny one. So if anyone does want to come up, they can. And I'll put that. And I'll try to y'all know, I'll try here and there to put it in the chat. I cannot say the word right now. Let me let my little kitty out really quick. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, sorry about that. He wanted to, he does it every time. At least he wasn't sitting in the chair getting his hair all there. Yeah, so Maddie K, they did it, Roy, for Maddie and Kaylee. I think that's just the cutest. Yes, and if you guys could, as you guys are coming in, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you do like to talk true crime. That's what we do around here, and all that good stuff. Turn on the bell. We'd love to have your comments in the comment section. I love hearing what people think about stuff. So I also dropped the link in the StreamYard. If anyone wants to come up, I can grab my headphones if I need to. And I'm just going to keep on going. So I wanted to talk about, if you guys haven't joined us for a live in the last few days, since Monday, on Monday's live, we covered, this guy came out with bogus claims about the Idaho 4 and about Dylan and just really outlandish lies. A couple creators put it on their channels that are, they're a lot bigger than me. So I wanted to bring attention to it on my channel to make sure that there was people out there that knew that this was bogus and, don't believe it. So basically Monday, he came out and he said by Wednesday, he was going to have an interview with Dylan. He did 3 YouTube videos on this. He did a bunch of Facebook posts on this. We were going to eat it. He was going to stick it to the man. It was like, F this, F that. Do you remember? He was going to stick it to us. So Wednesday came and went, just like we knew it would. So yesterday on last night's live, we got on Justin's Facebook and we checked because, that's where he was posting for everyone to see. And he, I was trying to refresh the page maybe, but he hasn't posted anything since last night, like when we were on the live. So he has not posted anything. Today, I wake up this morning and somebody is live and they say that Justin came out with a response to all of this stuff, right? He said that he's the smartest guy in the room and he asked, when have I ever lied to you? Well, I can think of one big one, Dylan. So Justin he's a guy that came forward, Princess Meg Elsa. He said that he knew all this information he said that Dylan was transgender. I mean, it was just, the stuff that he was saying was so outlandish that it was physically made me sick. It was 5:30 in the morning and I saw this on some other creator's channel and my blood pressure was so high. I probably should have went to the emergency room. Like Vincent even pointed it out. He was like, your blood pressure's high for this early in the morning. But I can't stand it when people are doing that to a victim. Even if this was true, this is not his story to tell. And it's not true. So today he made another statement saying, he's been saying throwing Chief Fry under the bus for, he said he had the murder weapon in his vehicle. And the stuff that he was saying it's just so bogus. But he told a creator that by 10 p.m. tonight, Chicago time, and he said, mark my words, that Chief Fry will be arrested. And I think it's because he, for abduction or something, who knows what he is going to get arrested for now. Because he's said so many things that this chief's allegedly done, which is just really awful that people talk about. They just make up stuff like that. I mean, and he said, it would probably be on prime time news. So that would have been at what? Isn't prime time like 6 o'clock? When's primetime news? I don't even know. I just know Ashley Banfield's at 10. And that's not prime time. So, and then 10 o'clock Chicago time is going to be 9 o'clock Eastern Standard. So we got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. But he did take all of his videos down. They're gone. The ones about Dylan, I knew I should, but I did save them into, well, they're saved into my live because so if you do want to watch the video on it, he doesn't have it on his channel anymore, which I wouldn't want to give him plays anyway. But I did do a live on it. When was that? Here, I can check right now. Let me see. I think I can. It might have been February 21st. It was Monday. Was that Monday? So if you want to check out the whole, it's 9-minute video of what he says. And it's literally, it'll knock you off your damn chair. If she's transgender, she's drop dead gorgeous, right? He's the guy who eats tight butts. It's only 5:56 where you're at, man. That guy's a lunatic. Michelle said, yeah, you're absolutely right. But when you see, okay, so you guys have common sense. That's why I love my chat. Most people do have common sense when it comes to people that are like him. That's just you hear it and it's just too far out there. The only problem I have is when large creators put it on their channel and they say it's gold. They don't say that it's a lie in the beginning. They don't think it's a lie. They put it out oh, look at this new witness and stuff. So if that person, let's just say they have a platform and they have 100,000 subscribers, there might be, 40, 30,000 people that believe them or something, So that's why I was I'm going to come out and just do a debunking video. Plus, you know what? And you know what I think about that? If he's transgender, and I hope he hears this, and I dropped the link and I'll drop it again. If he is, then why would he do this to another transgender person? He should know how hard it is being transgender in general. I'm just saying, if I'm just playing devil's advocate, I don't believe that Dylan is. But I'm saying if she is, this is not his place to tell a story just because he's transgender. That's like me going and telling Fetty Wap, the rapper, story about having glaucoma because he doesn't have an eyeball and I don't have an eyeball. That doesn't make me qualified. Do you know what I mean? Just because I don't have one. So somebody actually reported him to Moscow and I was excited about that. I can't remember who it was. And I think that people should have to be held accountable, Kelly D, for that. If there's ever a time I come out with something, I would never come out with anything like this. Y'all know me. You guys would be like, what's wrong with Tanya? Because, you'd be like, is this a joke? But if I ever did, I would hope that they would be able to sue me for defamation, which we'll get into more of that shortly. I'm going to play some of our girl Ashley's TikToks later, just a couple of them. Let me see. So I'll play those here in a little bit. The girl that's being sued. It's so crazy. But if you guys are just now joining us, hello, thank you, hi, welcome. I always forget to say hi and welcome to everybody when they come in throughout the live. Sometimes I'm bad about that, but the mods are great. They're always great about that. If you guys could like the video when you come in, if you do like the video, that would be great. It does really help send it into the algorithm. It's free to do. I know I say that a lot. Subscribe to the channel. I know I say that a lot too, but I just love you guys and I want to make sure that you're here for every upload. I would be lonely if you weren't in the chat or at least listening. Let me see. So it is 9 o'clock now and I have yet we actually have News Nation on in the other room, so I'll Tell Vincent to let me know if anything big happens on the news. Hey, let me know if Chief Fry gets fired on the news. He's going to be like, what's she talking about? Because you know. And you also know if this guy was like credible at all, like even if he, like if it was anybody, Banfield would have ran with this. You know what I mean? She would have ran with this story. But she didn't. So I'm hoping that, yeah. Well, I hope that they can get enough to, because like this is the part that irks me so bad. He has, let me see, I think it's 1.68K subscribers. So when he first started his little YouTube channel before, when the video first dropped, he had like 247, maybe less. He got on 2 creators' channels, and now he has 1.68K. He had 18K views the other day on his first Dylan video, which it wouldn't have gotten him that much money because you don't make that much on YouTube, guys. You really don't. But, so like, I don't think he would have made that much, but I didn't want him to make anything at all. That's why I was like, if you guys need to, just go back and watch my video on it. I'm like, I know I'm talking through it, but I would rather have the view for myself. Because I'm not over here trying to make, I'm not like this dude. He's just trying to make up stories. Oh, it's 8 in Chicago. Shoot, I was ahead. Shoot, thank you, Tony. Man. And we used to go to Chicago every summer, but we haven't been there. So maybe that's the problem. I need to go. I was thinking backwards. I was going backwards. So we have an hour. But we all know. Thank you so much, Tony. I'm so glad that, see, 8:02 there in Oklahoma. Well, it's 9:02 here. We have all kinds of people in here today, all over the country. Oklahoma, I love it. So, Ray, where do you live? I forget. What state do you live in? It's this guy, whatever he did his research. Like, that's the weird thing about it. He knows like names, and I don't know if it's real or if it's all lies or what, because I don't even go after that down those rabbit holes. But I will give you this. If you look at his name, and we went over this on the first live, the Papa Roger account. Do you see what his name is? I mean, that's all I'm going to say. Crazy Train, a guy that has been giving us fake news on Idaho 4 said that something big's going to happen, and it's going to happen by 10 o'clock Chicago time. Oh, Roy, you're in Youngstown? That's pretty far from me. Oh, you're up north. Are you guys okay up there? I know that's on the other side of the east side. It's more on the west, isn't it? But still, hopefully you are. Oh, it's okay, Isabel, if you don't last. I know it's late where you're from. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to point that out because maybe he is Papa Roger. I didn't go down the 4chain rabbit hole, so that's something I don't know about, but maybe it wasn't Brian Kohlberger. Maybe it was this cat. I mean, I just thought I would bring it in with that. So, this one here, let me see. I didn't know exactly what video to put this in, like which live, so I just wanted to play in this live. Basically, it's just saying, will Brian Kohlberger's trial be moved away from Moscow? And they talk in here about, the differences in having your trial where you're from or having it moved nowadays. So nowadays regarding the internet, because before the internet, when you had like a newspaper, you really couldn't get a whole lot of information unless maybe people were talking back and forth on the phone. stuff like that. But the internet is just, it's all there. So even if you change the venue, do you guys really think it would change anything at all because this case is so high profiled? Let me see. So, yeah. So I figured I would get your guys' opinion on that and play this for you guys. But basically, yeah, they're just going to go over, you know, maybe why he should have it moved or maybe why they shouldn't have it moved. And this was on News Nation the other night. And then I do have a Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace is talking about the Idaho force. So I have something to show you of hers too. Oh, and Isabel, I forgot to tell you, if you look, Vincent, let me see if I can get on there. Last night, Vincent stayed up and made you an Elvis emoji. Let me see if I can find it. This was the best one that he could find, but he said that he can find you another one if that's not good enough. I was trying to get him where he was doing his dance with his guitar, but it was making it too small. So there you go. We had to take out Brian Eaton for Elvis. Isabel is an Elvis fan, the biggest Elvis fan. So I wanted to make sure she got her Elvis. I'm getting there. I'm getting better at this. TF said one time, he's like, we need new emojis, and I made it happen. Well, Vincent did. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. I'm glad I didn't forget. Look at Elvis. He's so cute there, too. I told Vincent to get him in between stages. I said, don't get him when he was like, you know, bigger, but don't get him when he was like too young. You want to get him kind of in the middle. But I thought it was a good picture.
Prison, because obviously he has some mental health.
Let me rewind this, sorry.
Thing that his defense attorney should do? Should they ask for a change of venue? Should the prosecutors? I can't see that happening. But I'll tell you what, Mark O'Mara knows a thing or two about change of venue, high-profile clients, and criminal defense strategy, because he represented George Zimmerman, and that was a tricky, tricky case with a very, well, should we say electrified jury pool? Mark, what are your thoughts about the Idaho case and a change of venue, especially in the age of the internet, where I keep saying the world is flat? You could be in northern Idaho, southern Idaho. Everybody kind of knows all the same news. Is there anything to it anymore?
There's really not as much as there used to be. You know, in the days of papers, sure, if you were out of town or Tampa from Orlando, then you could probably have a different venue and a different jury pool. But you're right, Ashley, with today, the internet, everything is everywhere. So the idea of moving it a mile or 300 miles really doesn't have the same effect. So generally speaking, what we say now is if you can get a jury anywhere, you can get it in your hometown. You just have to do a good job picking the jury.
Okay, so there, you know, the possibilities in Idaho. Listen, Idaho can be pretty rural, and it's tricky even to find a public defender, as we've come to learn, because, you know, the public defender, Ann Taylor, is embattled with her potential conflict of interest claims, right? Because she represented 3 parents of the victims. Okay, but in this particular case, Moscow, if you drive north, you can get to Coeur d'Alene in about, I think, 80 miles. If you drive south, you can get to Lewiston in about 30 miles. And then if you really want to drive for a couple hundred miles, you can get to Boise. So there's your map. And I suppose there's other, you know, jurisdictions along the way. But I guess the other question is, logistically, is there a problem with expenses? Where you're going to house this guy? Where the lawyer's going to have to drive back and forth? Could you pull a jury, say, from Boise and bring them up to Moscow, like they did in the Casey Anthony case? They brought a jury from a different jurisdiction in, and they bust them in for the trial.
Yeah, those are all possibilities. Look, if I was the defense attorney, I would ask for a change of venue just because, if for no other reason, If it gets granted, great. If it gets denied, it's an appellate issue upon conviction. So there's one strategic reason to do it. But yes, there is the logistics of it. When we talked about Zimmerman, Ashley, you and I talked about whether or not we should change venue, and a little selfishness, I wanted to sleep in my own bed that every night of that trial. So there's those logistics of being in there. But yes, you can drag a jury from Boise, let's say, up to Moscow or the other way around. And there's a lot of extra expense, a lot of extra trouble with it. But again, in today's day and age, I just know that there's not going to be a significant change. You still have to vet those jurors that all know about it, but can set it aside and deal with the evidence in the courtroom alone. Going to be tough with that case.
Can you do me a huge favor? I have no time left, but I just want 20 seconds on what Ann Taylor is discussing with her client right now. Your best guess.
With the forensics as they are, what she really needs to be figuring out, whether he agrees or not, is a mitigation for how they're going to try and avoid death penalty / life in prison, because obviously he has some mental health concerns that are going to be the only way that he may not die in prison.
Whoa, mental health, forget it. Oh, man. I mean, I have seen people who are drooling in court and they can't get anything with regard to their mental health to be, mitigating for their cases, especially, I think, in a place like Idaho. That's going to be a tough road to hoe. Hey, Mark O'Mara, as always, I just love it when you come on because you just know all the answers. Thank you for this.
Great to see you. Be well.
Let me get this off of there. Okay. I turned it on slow-mo, but now I feel like I don't even need it on. It was just going kind of fast. I don't want to I don't want you guys to have to wait that long, though. So we'll just do it for 15. Because I was just trying to read them, and I didn't want to. Yeah, that was actually something. Thank you, Mystic Werewolf, for bringing that up. I forgot to bring that up, and I brought it. I put that on the community page. And I said, I'm going to bring this up tomorrow on the live. And I didn't. So let me grab that. So basically, I put this on the community page. I told you, if you're not looking at the community page, make sure you do. I know that you can't, on an iPad. For some reason, that is so strange to me. But you can look at the community tab on a laptop or your phone. It just, it's easy sometimes for me to give out information fast that way. Also, Twitter, my handle is at TitaniumBuilt. I give out so much, I'll either retweet or tweet something out super quick. A lot of times before I even put it on YouTube, trying to get better at doing both. And then also TikTok at TitaniumBuilt. I think I've done 2 or 3 TikToks the last couple of days, so I've been trying to be better. So this one here is basically, I forgot to show this on the live tonight, so we'll go over this and more on tomorrow evening's live. So basically, this document here, it's a request for the court to permit Brian Kohlberger to defend himself rather than require the respondents to do so by proxy. So what do you guys think about if he were to go ahead and, I guess, represent himself? I don't know if this will open the whole thing or not. It won't. And it says, before filing this motion, counsel for Mr. Kohlberger conferred with counsel for the practitioners. I think it says in respondents. Counsel for Judge Marshall indicated, I need to find a better thing because I colored all over this one. That wasn't very smart of me, was it? But yeah, so basically he's one to maybe defend himself. I personally don't think he would do that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Ted Bundy do that? For a minute? Who did that? Who else did that? Someone high profile. He also had a law degree, though. Or somewhat of one. Oh, it's for the gag order. So he wants to defend himself for the gag order, Annie Potts? Goodwill always has like, I always see people, Cheryl, they always go to Goodwill, like these little, like, I don't know, I'll watch like a TikTok or I'll watch like something on YouTube, which I don't really watch TikToks. And they'll get like the cutest things, but I've never had that happen in my case. He wants to intervene. Yes. Oh, okay. So, I didn't know that. I love you guys. That's why I love you guys in the chat. So Brian Kohlberger wants to intervene with the gag order too. Like he doesn't want the gag order in place. Like he wants to be able to talk also. Okay, so it says we can be added as respondent in gag order. Oh yeah, Daryl Brooks, yeah. Yeah, I went to school for the same thing, actually, that Brian Kohlberger went to school for. I just didn't get my PhD. I didn't really... I don't know why it went... I don't know what I was thinking. You're definitely right. Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. I couldn't remember for sure, but that's what I thought. That's so just, you know? And like how many, I think it was two girls, I think that survived that night too. Man. Okay. Let's see here. I'm just trying to close the windows that we've already seen. And then we went over him. He's not going to probably, he's probably not going to tell us anything that we don't already know. If you guys are just now joining us, we are talking about the Idaho 4 case that just has been going on since November. We are almost going to court. I feel like it's going pretty quick, actually. Everyone says June is like far, but we're almost through February. And the one good thing about for us, because, we're on this side of the gates, is spring's coming up. So maybe it'll just make it faster. I don't know. Maybe things will go by faster. I haven't watched the Murdoch documentary yet, but I want to, right? I thought about streaming it. I think Netflix is pretty cool about that. I think just like the only one I've ever had trouble with was like it was like ABC or NBC or CBS. I can't remember which one, so I just don't mess with any of them. You're exactly right. And we went over that. We had a whole discussion about how I think like the title of the live is like freeze, freeze. I can't even think of the words now. Defense mechanisms, fight, freeze, or run or whatever. We did like a whole live over it. I just cannot think of, my brain just like shut down on that. Fight, freeze. What's the other one? Flee? No, I don't know. Someone will tell me. I haven't watched the HBO one, but the Netflix one I heard, it just came out. So is all three out at once, or are they releasing them differently? All by Misty Queerwolf. I must have like hurt my lip today. Yeah. Yeah, I think that they should both be under gag order. Yeah, I think the HBO one is a little bit older, maybe. I think so. Fawn. Yeah, there's 4. There's freeze, fight, fawn. I don't know. All at once? Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll have to stream those. Because I know that I want to do Price Sunday. I was going to do, Nancy will have a broadcast out for the court from Friday, for today. I did listen to a lot of it. when I was going to like the chiropractor and stuff, which someone at the beginning of the chat asked me how my appointment went, and it went great. It went great. He said my back's pretty good. I'm like, okay. So I've been stretching a lot though and trying to work out. But the curves are just there forever. On our channel, we did go over, let me see where we're at. Okay, so we did go over Brian Kohlberger's, groupies that he has now. I think I remember telling you about Brittany Hislop, and then there was another girl that was that came out of the woodwork too, that just was in love with him. I can't remember her name. I couldn't remember it to look her up. Every time I tried to look her up, that Brittany girl came up, so I was just like, Brittany wins. So there's more. We thought there was 2. There's a group of 3,000 people. It's a Facebook group dedicated solely to Brian Kohlberger and his innocence and his attractiveness. I couldn't even get that out. I'm just going to say it. Now, one of these people would have given this guy the light of day if he didn't off 4 people and get on national news. Oh, I don't think so. I didn't know the ID channel had one though. Maybe that's the one I've seen. I've seen one of the documentaries. That's probably the one I saw was the ID one. I think because the new one, the Netflix one just came out like this last week or something. If on News Nation they had a clip of it, that's how I know. I wonder. I mean, I wonder how many people go in there and actually do troll. That's a lot of people though, 3,000. Crystal said how sweet. I know, I thought so too. Fight, flight, and flee. Thank you, Heidi. I was about to look it up. I feel like I fight, flight, or flee every day. 1, 2, or 3. And fawn is like the 4th one. If that's like more, I feel like for kids in almost a way. I like your little emoji. Not emoji, but picture. Yeah, you guys fight, flight, freeze. Yeah, that's right. You're right. Okay, Ray, have a good night. Okay, so Nancy Grace is going to talk to us about the groupies. There's more. If we didn't think there would be any more, there's more. And I thought it would be good to have a little bit of Nancy come into the mix because it's been a while since we've heard from her from the Idaho case. It's actually been a while. I think she was actually wearing the same outfit, but I can't remember. She might have been wearing it for Murdoch. I don't know. I wish she just let me dress her one time. I would love to dress Nancy.
Ever since Brian Kohlberger was arrested in the quadruple slay of 4 incredible, beautiful University of Idaho students, he's been causing one drama after the next. Right now, we are learning, believe it or not, that the Idaho murder suspect Brian Kohlberger has developed admirers who are in love with him, who lavish praise upon him, and who question his guilt. Also, a group has emerged called Justice for Brian. Justice for Brian Kohlberger. These Kohlberger sympathizers praise his looks. They think he's handsome, and they create pictures of him for online, and they edit on hearts onto him in his jail jumpsuit. Sydney, I better not find out that you're one of them. With me, high-profile lawyer out of the Jacksonville jurisdiction and also a former FBI agent, Dale Carson is joining us from DaleCarsonLaw.com. What about this? Idaho murder suspect Brian Kohberger has a very active following amongst sympathetic social media enthusiasts that actually put edit hearts onto his jumpsuit. Help me, Dale Carson.
I really find that rather appalling, but I look back to the Charles Manson behavior where he had a cult of women that followed him around before the killings and then afterwards received love letters just constantly for all these years. And if I'm not mistaken, he got married before he passed away. So then you have Ted Bundy, and Bundy was certainly that. And that he used that rather male attractiveness to target young women.
He used his male attractiveness. I didn't think Bundy was attractive. He looks like Satan. He looks exactly like Satan straight from hell.
Of course, you and I would not necessarily be attracted by that. But of course, many young women attempted to help him when he faked a cast injury and those sorts of things, which led to their ultimate deaths.
Yes, it did. It led to their murders. A fake cast. You know, what's interesting...
I just need to pause Nancy for a minute. And I hope I don't ruin Nancy for everybody forever, but that's not okay. So if you guys hear heavy breathing through this, I have ears like no other. I can hear everything. So I can hear Nancy breathing. So if you guys are like, if you could hear like kind of heavy breathing, that's not, I'm muted. That's not me. That's Miss Nancy. I think she just gets like ready to give that answer and she starts breathing kind of heavier, but I love her anyway. You know I do.
Well, there's so much interesting about it. I'm going to circle back to these largely women that are editing photos of Kohberger and placing them online with hearts attached to his prison jumpsuit. That should really be a red bell of alarm in your brain when you find yourself editing hearts onto someone's prison jumpsuit. Ding, 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 ding. I got the wrong guy. And I know you're not a shrink, Dale, but I know this. You've defended a lot of cases. And how many times has a young woman or a woman that is old enough to know better been led down the garden path by a guy who's just absolutely no good? You know what?
Well,
and this is another lesson for you, Sydney.
Well,
I don't know why women go after the bad choices. You know what? I think they get so addicted to the drama of the bad choice that when they find a good, decent...
It's not the drama. Girls want the bad boys because we want to try to fix them. We think they're fixable. Until a certain age. I feel like till you hit about 30. And if you're still trying to fix them after 30... then you need to just send them loose out into the wild. But I do think that's the reason.
Guy, he's boring to them. Let me tell you, good and decent is not boring. In addition to all of these lovelorn women that are editing hearts onto his prison jumpsuit, there are about 3,000 members of Justice for Brian Kohberger on Facebook. It was created not too many days after his arrest. There is a Bryan Nation, BRYANATION on Reddit with a thread titled, "What was it about Brian that got your liking?" Answer, nothing, but apparently some people have a different answer. And there is r/Brian Kohberger. That's another thread. It has another thread titled, "Why Brian Kohberger is Not Guilty." And they are getting hundreds and hundreds of comments. People are actually reading this, Dale Carson.
Well, what a way to get commentary on your own existence, right? You demonstrate that you're unusual and that you have a propensity to love people who shouldn't be loved. And of course, you're creating an environment for yourself where people will pay attention to people who otherwise wouldn't have any attention placed on them at all. So I think it's a mechanism of attention gathering.
There is a Facebook user who says, quote, she's a single mom from Kentucky. She's written dozens and dozens of love letters, and she describes Brian Kohberger as her, quote, divine masculine, end quote. I don't understand the attraction. Of course, at the same time, he is charged by the state of quadruple murder. There are tales from women that have met him face to face. I've talked about that, Dale Carson. Number one, the women at bars that he goes up to and goes, hey, what's your address? I would run for the hills if someone said that. And then, of course, those poor students that worked under him when he was their TA, and he has been accused of misogyny, hatred of women, of treating the female students differently, being much more harsh grader upon them, on them and their work. So I'm very intrigued by these women that have a huge crush on Brian Kohberger. And they're not just saying, hey, I've got a crush. They're saying, hey, he's not guilty. I certainly hope someone like that doesn't end up on his jury.
Well, and of course, that's the whole point of voir dire, is to challenge jurors to make sure they don't have an unfair bias when the state prosecutes the case. But the evidence against Kohberger is significant and substantial. The only thing we don't have from him is a confession.
You know, one of these groups, Justice for Brian Kohberger, has created a lot of outrage on social media. And there is a quote on there from Ronald Jones, who was the guy who was wrongly convicted of murder and was given a death sentence. And he says, it's about whether or not you can prove you're innocent. He says, now it's guilty until proven innocent. That is absolutely not true. I mean, look at Robert Blake, who walked. Look at Michael Jackson, who walked. Look at O.J. Simpson, who walked. Look at Top Mom Casey Anthony, who walked. Clearly, all of them were guilty, no question, and they all were acquitted. So it is not guilty until proven innocent. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I agree with you. I think that the whole point of the defense bar is to challenge the government to make certain that when it does convict an individual, that they truly should be convicted. And I think that plays out in this country. I agree with people who say that it's innocent until proven guilty. But it's hard to push that narrative in the face of social media because they want it to be something different. They want to tear down our existing structures. They want to sort of recalibrate everything we hold as tradition and value. And that has an effect on the criminal justice system. And it certainly presents itself in awkward ways on social media because these people are basically anonymous. They can say whatever they want, and they're thrusting their finger into the eye of tradition. And they seem to like to do that. And a certain number of people, a percentage of people, do that as routine behavior. And those people are dangerous to all of us.
Also, although he will most likely exercise his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, he has indicated through others that he is, quote, eager to be exonerated. That reminds me of when O.J. Simpson stood up and when the judge asked him to enter his plea, he said, 100% not guilty. I mean, he was very convincing to those that had not examined the facts that he was eager to be exonerated. As Kohberger is saying, he was 100% not guilty. He had a lot of bravado to his response. What do you make of Kohberger putting it out there, eager to be exonerated?
Your quote is accurate. That is promoted by people who don't know the facts because they don't want to hear the facts. They want to be contrarians. And of course, that fortunately is not what prevails in the criminal justice system in the United States generally. Now, any system makes mistakes, but you can't always be judged by your mistakes. This is the strongest criminal justice system where the defendant does have opportunity to challenge the government's interest in a public trial where their potential crime can be examined by a group of peers who will determine whether or not the state meets its burden. Where else in the world do we have that sort of exacting criminal justice system. I'm not, maybe England, maybe a few other countries, but overall, very, very few.
Let me throw another theory at you. The myth of the psychopath. You know, there is, a mental disorder. It doesn't rise to insanity, called psychopathy, being a psychopath. Because we hear people refer to Brian Kohberger as, well, he's a psychopath, as if that somehow excuses everything he has done. For instance, you always read about these Hollywood stars that are cheating on their wives, and they go, oh, I'm a sex addict, I'm going to go to rehab. BS. That is not an excuse. I don't believe that. I think that there may be a problem within you, that you seek out meaningless sex or sex without any emotional attachment. But that is not an excuse for what you're doing. It's not a defense for what you're doing. Like voluntary consumption of alcohol or drugs is typically not a defense under the law, or else everybody in the Fulton County Jail would walk free right now. They go, oh, I was drunk, not guilty. So just claiming as if it's some type of an explanation, Kohberger's a psychopath, I'm not buying into that, Dale Carson.
Well, I think the idea that people are somehow, by the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistic Manual that these psychiatrists use to determine whether or not someone has an illness which causes them to do these things, really is not something that should be used to validate whether they know the difference from right and wrong, which is the standard. And so it's beyond belief that Kohberger didn't know, when he was allegedly stabbing these young women, entering a house in the middle of the night and taking their lives, that he didn't know that that's not something that a human being is supposed to do to another human being. So from my perspective, whatever they consider him, the psychiatrists consider him, doesn't eliminate the need for us to understand that that individual knew the difference between right and wrong and knows the difference between right and wrong. And he should be held responsible for his own conduct, as we all should be.
You know, why I believe people come up with theories about why someone committed a crime, I think it's because we want very much to understand. We want to apply logic to an illogical situation. About 5 years in, I was sitting in court one day. The jury wasn't there, Dale. I looked over at the defendant. I thought, why did he do this? I thought, wait a minute. Why am I wondering why? It's a complete waste of time, because I'll never know why he committed a murder. That's what we're trying to do with Kohberger. We're saying, oh, he's a psychopath. That's why he did it.
Well, don't you think we want to know that so that we can look at people and say that person's dangerous, that person's not dangerous, even though we know we can't do that?
Okay, say that one more time.
I think that we want to be able to look at people and identify them as dangerous, because that's important to our survival. But I don't think we can really do that. And I do know that women have a better mechanism for detecting bullshit and danger than men do typically. You will have a sense for it, which protects you in interesting ways that men simply don't have. I mean, our aggression comes out directly in physical activity or shouting and things of that nature, whereas women are much better at determining if someone's dangerous and avoiding that danger instead of engaging it with the male pride that they fortunately don't have.
I think people try to make sense of what they see. Like, I remember watching Scott Peterson come in the courtroom all jacked up, you know, like a football player, or as we like to say, bowed up. And I looked at him, Dale, and he, not to me, but some people thought he was physically attractive. he could be charming. Some people, not me, thought he had a great smile. I thought it was a devilish smile. He had a college degree. He was a great golfer. He had a beautiful wife, first child on the way, lovely home. I remember looking through the window into their home on Covina, and Lacey Peterson had it just decorated. It looked like a dollhouse. It was so beautifully done on the inside. He had it all, right? His family worshipped him, loved him. He could do no wrong. So why would he do this thing? I think that's part of the reason that so many people believed Peterson was not guilty, because it just didn't make sense. It was like the eye was tricking the mind. And here I think people are trying to basically medicalize hate and evil and mens rea and malice and premeditation, because it's hard for people to accept Kohberger could do this to these three beautiful girls and this wonderful, handsome young man, Ethan Chapin. It's very hard with no real motive to take in why he would do that. So we try to rationalize it. We try to medicalize it. Oh, he's a psychopath. You know, that's
Well, you know,
what?
You know, my view, though, Nancy, is that
Oh,
he
Lord.
did have a relationship with those women, and it was not a relationship that was based in reality. It was a vicarious relationship that was garnered through looking into the windows late at night and watching these people enjoy life in a manner that he could not. And that's what precipitated his anger. I mean, I'm convinced that when he got fired, that was the trigger point that led him to just blow out, because he is angry. And the only way to satisfy that anger is what I mentioned earlier, is aggression. And he has a deep well of that aggression in him that causes him to act out in that way. But that doesn't mean he should be designated as a psychopath and somehow forgiven. It doesn't mean that at all. What it means is we need to learn from this horror and somehow metabolize it in a way that we can prevent the people we love from being injured by this sort of behavior and this animalistic nature.
Can I tell you something, Del Carson? Brian Kohberger makes my head hurt. I think it's because there is no reason why. And I can try to fit it together and put the puzzle pieces together and analyze his phone data and is this and is that. The bottom line is, based on what we know right now, he did it. And I don't know if he's a psychopath. I don't know if he is criminally insane. I don't think so. And that's what's giving me a headache, to think that a seemingly normal person could do this horrible thing.
Wayne Williams was the same. I mean, we never did figure.
Wayne Williams was a grade A-hole that had been spoiled rotten by his parents from day one, and they facilitated what he did. He was nowhere near normal.
And of course, he wasn't somebody that you'd pick out of a lineup and say, that's a bad guy and we need to put him in custody. That's the problem.
You're right. He looked kind of harmless, didn't he?
He did. When I talked to him, which I was the only agent in the federal side that ever spoke with Wayne, I looked into his eyes.
Don't call him by his first name like he's your buddy. You're not having lunch tomorrow.
That's right. Williams, one could not see the evil in him. I'll just tell you, which always kind of stunned me, because we knew he was responsible for many, many deaths. And the violence that was committed against them was not anything that was sexual in nature, which was another bizarre aspect of that particular case.
I just hope that no one on Kohberger's jury is tricked into believing he has some sort of mental excuse for what he did, because it's very hard for many people to accept some people are just evil, or let me rephrase, some people do evil things for really no reason. It's really hard to take that in, but we wait as justice unfolds. Del Carson, high-profile lawyer, Jacksonville, Dale Carson Law.
We don't need her to tell us all about Dale Carson. We know about his credentials. We've watched her before. Let me see what's going on in the chat really quick. If you guys are just now joining us, we are talking about Idaho 4. You know, we're talking about case updates, different changes of if they're going to have a change of venue, the lies that are coming out within this case, all of the good stuff, I guess. You learned everything on YouTube University. But yeah, no, he wasn't, he was a PhD student. That wouldn't, I guess you can, if you have a PhD, you can go back and get another PhD, but normally people don't do that. Oh, you didn't get a notification? I don't know why that happens to some people. Maybe, I've heard other creators say this, like sometimes if you're on your phone, I know this one, if you're on your phone, then you have to make sure that it's set in your settings to allow all notifications. But if you're on a computer, just make sure the bell icon is alerted. And then when you hit the bell icon, it'll say all notifications and then click on there. Oh, your notification didn't work either? That's crazy. So I'm going to try to keep it like the same time. I'm going to try. I don't know. But Fridays and Saturdays, I think I'm going to try to keep it at 8:15. Sundays, I'm going to be open. Maybe we'll do like a poll or something. See what is a good time for you guys. And then through the week, I'm still debating. Because I'm here by myself in the morning, but I like night times also. So I'm like, maybe I'll do like every other or something along those lines. But I am going to, so Nancy's done. I was going to go back over the house and stuff. There's some new stuff that's come out over over the house and what they're going to be doing with it and all of that stuff. So let me, I'm going to put the StreamYard link in there. If anyone wants to come up and if they want to say anything, they can. Oh yeah, there are so many hearings coming up. Well, Chad Daybell, I hear, rumor has it, he's trying to get the hell away from Lori. He's trying to get their cases separated. Good luck. You're with her in marriage, you're with her in court, bud. So yesterday, if you guys didn't join us on the live, these are the pictures that I showed you guys of the house and what it looks like as of yesterday afternoon. Yeah, too late, that's over. Yeah, he's trying. I think it's pretty hilarious. And then I showed you this one. I think these pictures are super creepy, eerie, very eerie. And then this one is of the back of the house. And so they did put the fence up first. They put the fence up, I don't know how long it's been, maybe a week or so ago. Then they boarded up all of the windows. I don't know if they actually took the windows out. I was under the impression that they removed the windows. They just didn't board them up. That way because yesterday I said in the live, I thought that they would be tearing the place down since the windows are boarded up. I figured they removed the windows, boarded them up. That way when they go to demolish things, there's not glass everywhere. My brother, my dad, my best friend's dad, my first cousin, and my uncle, they all built homes growing up and tore homes down. So that's just kind of based on my little bit of just knowledge about stuff, that's something that they would do. Somebody in the chat said maybe they were trying to board it up so that drones couldn't fly in there. And I said, I don't think that's it. So I was like, I don't think it was the drones. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, sweet and salty. Murdoch's trial stole me from you for a moment. Oh, man, you should have been here for, what was that? Was that yesterday that we streamed? We streamed the whole trial yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, it was. It was yesterday. It feels like it was a couple of days ago. So it's actually, they're going to do a lot of stuff with this property. Let me see where I wanted to go next. Okay. So I'm going to show you this Ashley Banfield clip because she came out with this last night before the news broke today. And I put it on the community tab and stuff like that. But I wanted to show you this and just kind of like lead up to, you know, what we have going on now because it's some good news.
A lot of you have asked what's going to happen with the house at 1122 King Road in Moscow since those horrible murders of those 4 kids. And that's a really good question. We keep wondering, is it going to be released at some point to the owner, whether it's going to be taken down or whether it's going to be re-rented. But up until now, while Brian Koberger awaits his next hearing, June 26th, that house remains dark. And tonight, even darker. You first saw the fence that went up around it, but take a look at what it looks like now. In the last couple of days, someone has gone with plywood and put the boards over every single window and that front door too. Take a look at that. Every single window boarded up on the outside. And there's also a do not trespass sign on the house as well. Whether that means they're trying to preserve this for a jury to go through, because clearly, you know, no trespassing, chain link fence, and these boarded, you know, windows and doors mean it's being preserved for something. So something else.
And that's where me and her would, if I saw this after I got off the live, and that's where me and her would have differed last night if I would have saw this when I played it. Because to me, that boarding up the windows, to me is, you know, they're going to knock it down.
Else happened today as well. We noted that a posting in the Latah County Magistrate Court that was posted on Tuesday says something curious. It's a one-line item. I'm going to read it for you. It says, order to file defendant's Exhibit A attached to the defendant's first supplemental request for discovery under seal. What does that mean? Jennifer Coffendorfer joins me now. She's a former FBI special agent who's been following this case from the very beginning. What does this mean exactly, Jennifer?
Well, there's 2 things that strike me. First of all, if you look, this is a part of a supplemental motion. And what's interesting to me is if you looked at the original discovery motion made by the defense, it included everything but the kitchen sink. It was very expansive, but yet something new had to have come to light for them to submit a supplemental discovery motion. And attached to that motion is Exhibit A, which would further define what this motion is about. Is it about HIPAA? Is it about a mental health issue that they want sealed? Or is it about an informant? We don't know, but what we do know is we're not going to know.
Well, here's what's annoying. This isn't part of the gag order, and yet, boom, it's like a rubber stamp in this case. And this isn't the way justice, you know, is prosecuted in this country. I'm frustrated by the amount of darkness, especially in Idaho, in these last 2 cases we just reported on. Should we be concerned, or is this really just prudent?
Well, you're not the only one that's concerned. Of course, the AP has filed a lawsuit regarding the lack of transparency in this case. And I think that there is a fine line. I understand certainly from the prosecution side, we wanted to keep things under wraps and under seal if it meant it could, you know, cause an issue with the case. But this has become so expansive.
It's overkill, it feels like. Jennifer Coffendorfer, thank you, appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that they've like not, that they haven't given us enough information? Because I feel like, I mean, and I know these are only sources, but Banfield hasn't come back and recanted anything. But we've heard something every night, I feel like. Even if it's just something small or it doesn't, you know, seem like really too relevant, but it's something. So I feel like they're trying to keep it sealed as much as they can. And I think that's probably a pretty good idea. Yeah, exactly, Teresa. And that's another thing too. People were saying that they were going to save this house for jury to walk through. And I'm like, this isn't TV. They will take the floor in there into the courtroom. They'll take the flooring out. They'll take the beds. I've seen trial lawyers take a whole bed into a courtroom. I was trying to think of her name. Lawyer down in Texas. It'll come to me. But she wasn't messing around. So, you know, but I just don't see them boarding this house up because, I mean, we're supposed to go to court in June, but what if they do get a continuance? What if they got another continuance? What if it was years? They're not going to let that house just sit there with blood coming out of the back, like off into, you know what I mean, out of the back, on the cinder blocks and stuff. I didn't believe it last night whenever we saw it boarded up. To me, that was a game changer. I don't know. So today I posted this on YouTube, and this is from Reddit. And I know, because I got this in the comment section, Reddit isn't always a credible source, but when I read this, I thought this seemed credible, and I decided to post it. And then we found out later on it was in fact credible. But it says, King Street House, the owner of the King Street House offered to give the house to the university, which we accepted. The house will be demolished. This is a healing step and removes the physical structure where the crime that shook our community was committed. Demolition also removes efforts to further sensationalize the crime scene. We are evaluating options where students may be involved in the future development of the property. Sometimes it is hard to see beyond this tragedy, but the selfless acts and deep engagement and loving support of our entire Vandal family reminds me that there is so much good in the world. We will never forget Zana, Ethan, Madison, and Kaylee, and will do everything in my power to protect their dignity and respect their memory. Together we will rebuild and continue to support each other. We are Vandal strong. So this came out from the president today, this morning. He wrote this in, I believe it was like a company newsletter or something, like, you know, like a newsletter for the students, I believe, and for the faculty. So I think that's, so no one bought the house. So that's what I thought. So last night I thought that maybe if the owner put the house up for sale, that there would be like a GoFundMe raised, because I'm sure that people would chip in the GoFundMe, buy the house, tear it down. But the owner actually offered the home to the university free of charge. Like, here you go. I never thought that this property owner would do that. I'm in awe. I think that's amazing. I think it's amazing, amazing, amazing that someone would do that. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want nothing to do with it, but they could have torn that house down, put another house there, or another, you know, apartment, maybe rent that out, but maybe, I don't know. I just feel like, well, maybe the owner should get an insurance settlement. I mean, I think it's nice that he offered, you know, the house and stuff, like, because it's not his fault what happened there, but it's just, see, sweet and salty, that's how I am. I was like, I don't know if I could, yeah. He was like, here you go. And I'm like, I was really surprised. I figured that people would have to do like a GoFundMe, or I didn't even know if he would really do that. It was only, I mean, I don't want to say only, but if you think about it, it was $2,600 a month, or your peace of mind, you know? That was very generous, very, yeah. Like, I mean, I just think that's, either way, like, you know, I just think it's really nice that they did that. Humanity, you know? So on, this one, was this an hour ago? Oh yeah, this is from today. Oops, sorry. So 3 hours ago now. I was like, wait a minute. So I'll go ahead and show you guys this, because this is about them just talking about the house. And I don't know if you could tell in that other picture that I was showing you, but they do have some sort of like security guard there now. Like, I can't like read that for some reason. It says something Canyon, I think. Hollis Canyon or something Canyon security. So it's not like police, it's like security. Yeah, so there will be a memorial for them. It's probably maybe some sort of like insurance that maybe apartments have to have for like if something happens to the tenants in the home, like fire, but it's like more than fire insurance. I don't know. I have no clue how that would even work. That's one thing about homes I don't know. I know how to build. I know not how to build them, but I know the gist of it and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know anything about the insurance part. Okay, so I'm going to play her.
About the scene of a brutal quadruple murder. The house where 4 University of Idaho students were found murdered will be torn down. And the news coming more than 3 months after that crime rocked the small community of Moscow. Correspondent Nancy Liu joins us live. Nancy, the homeowner gave that property to the school.
That's right, Nicole. And in the wake of the quadruple murders, that 3-story house just off the Idaho campus is familiar to people all over the country. But soon that home will be demolished. The school telling News Nation it will happen before the end of this semester. The 6-bedroom rental on King Road is already boarded up and surrounded by a chain-link fence. Along with word that the owner has donated the structure to the University of Idaho, the school has announced plans to tear it down in the next few weeks. In a statement, the U of I president notes that this is a healing step and removes the physical structure where the crime that shook our community was committed. Demolition also removes efforts to further sensationalize the crime scene. We're evaluating options where students may be involved in the future development of the property.
Is this your car?
It's been nearly 2 months since the arrest of Brian Koberger, a graduate student at nearby Washington State who is now awaiting trial on 4 counts of first-degree murder. Ethan Chapin, Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Kaylee Gonsalves were found stabbed to death on November 13th. As the investigation took shape, the murder scene remained under guard for months. At one point, the tragic sight of police removing the personal items of the victims.
Can you tell us what you were looking for?
At others, News Nation on the scene exclusively as investigators worked the case. Also there later, as preparation for a remediation process was halted by a court to allow access by Koberger's defense team. But now the home has been cleared, and indeed it has been an attraction among the curious. The U of I has also announced plans for 4 new scholarships, as well as a future healing garden and memorial to honor the 4 victims. Nicole?
Yeah, that community trying to heal. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out like about the house, like what they could do. They have already collected, Jason, they already collected all of their evidence that they were going to collect out of that house. How long we counted the weeks yesterday that it's been plenty of time for the cops to get what evidence they need. If they didn't get it by now, then that's their own damn fault. Like, I mean, sorry, but like that, I mean, you know, they've had crime scene techs in there. They haven't even been in that home for a while, it seems like. We haven't seen them go into that house, I don't think, like, I think the last time we saw them go in, like, on camera was when News Nation or something was there and they got them going up. It was like 2 or 3, maybe 4 officers, maybe 5. They went in, they collected a couple things, they didn't stay long, and then they came right back out. I think that, like, I think personally, this is what I said in the beginning, that it would be nice to put a lighted pathway through there at least for the students, because I believe that the students use that like alleyway a lot for going to and from like houses or school or whatever it is. So for it to be more lit up for them, to be a little safer, maybe install like campus phones over there, even though it's technically off campus, it still has a lot of campus residents. Maybe those are things that they could do. Okay, yeah, I will. I'll check the email. Here in a minute. Let me see. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, I was gonna read you this next. Let me see. I think. Maybe. Did we really get through all that already? Wow. We did. I'm just like looking at my notes. I'm like, man, we got through that pretty quick. So I think what they're going to do is do a garden. Yeah, I think they're going to do a garden, which I think is a really good idea. I think that would be really pretty right there. It would open it up. People can, park up there if they would like to. Maybe they can plant a couple, maybe, four trees in their memory or something like that. Something that could be, that's going to come every year or, stay every year and grow and become stronger and just, Oh, I'm sure people are pulling their kids out. I don't feel like they should treat it like a grave site, though. Because, if they do that, Isabel, that would be so depressing. That would be just like leaving the house there, I feel like, Like, you want to make it to where it's like when you see it, you smile or it makes you something, so. Yeah, so speaking of Ethan's tulips, a lot of people are going around and it's a little bit of misinformation. So Ethan worked at a tulip farm in the summertime. And Ethan's boss decided to crossbreed a white tulip for purity and then a yellow tulip for vandal for Ethan's smile. I've heard a lot of people come out and say that was Ethan's favorite flower. And I'm like, Ethan was a 20-year-old man. He didn't have a favorite flower. He probably only knew what a tulip was because he worked at a tulip farm. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It would just make me giggle. I asked Vincent, I said, give me a flower, not a rose right now. And I said, not a tulip, or, not a tulip, obviously. But he was quick with it. He said poppy, but my store is Poppy and Ari. I was like, you can't do that. But then he couldn't guess any, so. Yeah, Chris Watts home sold, but that's just a little bit, I feel like that's a little bit of a different story. It's just, that house, I mean, I don't know. I think the people that live there, I don't think that they were fascinated with the case or anything. I think they just liked the home. It was newer. It wasn't bloodied. There wasn't, you know what I mean? I don't know. It was easier to sell, I feel like. And that was in like a housing development. So even if they tore that house down, they would have just built another house there, I feel like. Yeah, and I wonder how, tulips should do good out there, I would think, all year. Because, I mean, he's from that area, so. Yeah, Maisie and Hunter worked there, too, yeah. It was a really nice video that they're going to do, that they put on for them. The people that bought what? Yeah, Park Green area. That is true. Yeah, because they'd have to just have it. I mean, they would just have to have a meeting for it to be zoned. Like if you want to have another structure like on your private property, I know you do like a zoning thing. Yeah, Jason Bourne, I do too. I feel bad for the neighbors. They've got to be looking at that house just every day thinking about it. I don't want to say I would want to move on, but I would want to move on in a way. You know what I mean? As a student, as a person, I would want to, I wouldn't want to look at that every night. Or every day. That would just be terrible. So there was just a couple things I wanted to show you. And then I was going to go over the phone pictures again that we went over yesterday, just at the end of the live. I'll show you the video that came out. There's a new video and then the older video. So this is basically just an update. So this actually came out December 23rd. I can't find I'll have to look for the actual paperwork, but found from, it's a credible source. I feel like it's another YouTuber. I feel like Plunder is a pretty credible source. So I'm going to, use her name. She did a really good story on this girl. Okay. So Ashley is in the Book of Life. That's her TikTok name. She's the one that's being sued by the professor of, University of Idaho for slander and defamation. Well, she's being sued for $1.9 million. You would think if you got a letter in the mail that said you're being sued for $1.9 million, what do you think you do first? Me? I'd shut my TikTok down. But what did she do? She made more TikToks. She made more TikToks. So I was like, oh my Lordy. So yeah, I saw Plunder say that, I just saw her say how much that she was getting sued for, which we already knew that she was getting sued. I just didn't know that the actual amount came out, how much she was being sued. Yeah. Throw up, then cry. Yeah. Well, you got to think she's making these videos. They're getting millions of views. She's making bank money. She's got multiple accounts that she's putting these videos on too. So I hope that this lady gets every single penny that she's due, because I'm going to read this article to you so you guys can kind of get a better understanding of what actually this girl has put this professor through, like what she's actually said to defame her. And you got to think this is a professor. So this is a woman that works with students. This is a woman that works with people in the LGBTQ community. This is a woman that she's young. She wants to go high in her career. And this Ashley Gilliard, which is the TikTok user, she's on the other side of the tracks. She just wants to make a TikTok living, I guess. I don't know. But it's just a short little article. It says a University of Idaho professor has sued a popular TikTok user for defamation, saying she is blatantly accusing her of the Moscow murders. Ashley Gilliard, or TikTok user Ashley is in the Book of Life, is being sued by Rebecca Schofield, who's been a U of I professor since 2018. According to court documents, Gilliard has posted many TikToks claiming Schofield participated in the murders and was romantically involved with one of the victims. Meaning she was saying she was involved with Kaylee. Gilliard, whose title on TikTok is Ashley Solves Mysteries, promotes herself as an internet sleuth who uses tarot cards and other methods to solve high-profile unsolved murders. But we never see her tarot cards. Court documents state Gilliard began posting TikTok videos about the University of Idaho murders on or around November 22nd, saying that the murder was possibly an ex. The lawsuit said Gilliard falsely accused Schofield of being in a relationship with Kaylee Gonzalez, one of the murdered students, and also claimed she was responsible for the murders. Attorney Wendy Olson, who is representing Rebecca Schofield, released the following statement on the defamation lawsuit. The statements made about Professor Schofield are false, plain and simple. That's what's even worse is that these untrue statements create safety issues for the professor and her family. They've also further compound the trauma that the families of the victims are experiencing and undermine law enforcement efforts to find the people responsible in order to provide answers to the families and to the public. Professor Schofield twice sent cease and desist letters to Miss Gilliard, but Miss Gilliard has continued to make false statements knowing they are false. Thus, this lawsuit became necessary to protect Professor Schofield's safety and her reputation. Gilliard has made multiple TikToks addressing the lawsuit, saying Schofield will regret having filed it. Man, I hope she really gets all that money. So she was even saying, she even took it to the point where she was saying that Kaylee and Jack, the professor and Jack were in on it together, even though the professor was dating Kaylee, and so was Jack at one point. Like, that doesn't make any sense right there. So, I'm only going to play a couple of these TikToks for you, because this girl's we'll lose way too many brain cells, but you can see over the progression of these newest TikToks, our girl is falling from grace. You can tell by her face in these TikToks. So I wanted to play a couple because I listened to them all, and then like two of them I was like, she just contradicted herself right then. So I'm just going to point out how she's a liar, and I only need to point out one time. So let's see. She's looking rough. I want to see which ones I wanted to show you. Okay. So when we last saw her, we saw her here. She was going to Bali. Girl was peacing out. She was like, I'm peacing out. So she was going to Bali. Here's when, she was doing all all of her stuff. Look at all these videos. Like, it's just a lot. So, she didn't go to Bali. She's over here. She said somebody prayed for her. Thank God someone prayed. Okay. Well, this one is the one I was going to show you. So just listen to where she says how many years experience Rebecca Schofield's attorneys have. And just listen to the video because she's just ignorant. Maybe it'll play. Sorry, I was trying to... Yeah, so Plunder made an update on this, but she didn't make an update on her, per se. Well, no, she made an update, I guess, on her, but not on her TikTok. She just made the update on the only thing that I saw was just the amount. The actual, amount that it was for. Like the $1.9 million lawsuit. I don't think... I know she didn't, actually. She doesn't show TikToks on her channel, so she didn't show any of the TikToks or anything, though. I'll probably have to just refresh it.
And y'all need to stop asking me about this lawsuit. It should not even have been allowed. First of all, for multiple reasons.
Wanted to try to make this bigger. All right.
And y'all need to stop asking me about this lawsuit. It should not even have been allowed. First of all, for multiple reasons. But for the legal reason was because it's the improper venue. Like anybody with a little bit of sense knows, I'm not an Idaho resident, so I should not be sued in the District of Idaho federal courts. Then they got the nerve to not allow pro se clients to e-file. Meanwhile, so her attorneys are e-filing.
So if I live in Ohio and Teresa lives in Florida and Teresa owes me money, I can't sue her because she doesn't live in the same state as me. I just wanted to point that out.
Documents. If I want to file a document, I got to fly to Idaho or mail it in and hope they get it.
And she says, and hope they get it. Like, they're not going to get it. Like, they're really going to do something to try to mess up your little case. We're only listening to her for like 2 minutes, and I've got a lot to say. Oh, and did you see my comment over here from 212? It says, do you hear yourself, girl? Like, do you hear yourself? It's insane to me.
Well, there needs to be some type of system that automatically declines lawsuits that are frivolous. Why would you sue a Texas resident in Idaho? It makes no sense. And they knew that with their over 20 years of experience practicing law. So I will file this motion to dismiss or whatever it is that it needs to file, but I shouldn't have to do it. It should have automatically been rejected for improper venue. It's not fair and it's not cool. And yeah. Also, for the life of me, I am trying to understand how Rebecca Schofield attorneys have over 40 years of combined. Also, Also, for the life of me, I am trying to understand how Rebecca Schofield attorneys have over 40 years of combined experience practicing law, and they
Oh yeah. So within two videos, sorry, like I was trying to get to the right one. But so within 2 videos, she's changed her story. So the first video, she said, you know, they had Rebecca Schofield's lawyers had a combined 20 years experience. 2 videos later, she's saying 40 years combined experience. It's just insane. You still can't hear me? Oh, okay. I said I'm not on mute. Okay. Yes, Teresa, can we bring back Jerry? I'd be the host. I used to watch that when I was little. I like Jerry. Thanks for letting me know I was muted. I didn't realize until Vincent just screamed, "You're muted." Yeah. I think that's what she's saying. Yeah. But at the same time, they sent her 2 cease and desist, and she said that she was going to, let me see what she said. Oh, she was going to use those for toilet paper. And then that's when they decided to go ahead and file the actual lawsuit. Her weave is sewn in a little too tight. It definitely is. I think she says on this video, I'll let this one play through. I think this is the one, and she says it's like, she's like, yeah, and she said that it's like over 7,500 in damages, and she's like, I don't dispute that, and I'm like, only? Oh, no, like that. It's a lot more than that. 1.9 million. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy the StreamYard link in here one more time because I'm almost done for the evening, but. So Jason, this girl's been involved since November 22nd is when she started posting on TikTok about a professor at the University of Moscow. And it's just went downhill for her ever since. And then I do actually have one more thing to show you guys.
still chose the improper venue. It makes no sense. I have no experience practicing law. None. And I was able to easily understand that they chose the improper venue. So it makes me feel like they did it on purpose. Why did they choose that venue? And I feel like they chose the improper venue as it pertains to location because of Rebecca Schofield. They wanted her to have favorable conditions that would impede upon the interest of justice for me. I just can't see that 3 attorneys with over 40 years of combined experience would make such a silly mistake like that. I feel like it was done on purpose to impede upon justice as it pertains to me and to give Rebecca Schofield favorable judicial conditions. Also, for the life of me, I am trying to understand how Rebecca Schofield attorneys.
So you can kind of see her falling from grace. Actually, I want to show you this one at the end because she just looks real rough. But she's turned her comment section off at this point. But this is like a 10-second video, so I'll show it to you really quick.
I turned off the comments because most of them have no knowledge, no merit, lack an original thought, are evil, add absolutely no value to me or anyone reading it. And so therefore, there's no reason for me to give you an opportunity to speak.
She looks rough. I'm just saying, I'm smiling because I am. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I feel so bad for that professor. Oh yeah, here, I'll play that first and then I'll do this in a minute because if not, I'll forget to read the email. And then I was just going to go over the phone calls that, like, the pictures that Brian Kohlberger has in his phone. We went over it last night a little bit, but they came out with another interview. So this is the right one. Okay. You sent it a while ago. I didn't get it. Let me see. That's so weird. I bet you it's on my phone, though. If I look on my phone. Let's see. Sorry. I was trying to find the email. Let's see here. I have way too many emails, guys. I've got like a Yahoo, a Google. Too much. But I didn't get it, did I? No, can you send it again? I didn't get the email. That's so weird. Oh, wait. No. Yeah, maybe try to send it again. Because I don't see it. It says Vincent is here. Look at him. He's got his Elvis emoji. He's in the building. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised she's getting sued either. And I'm glad she is. Like, I am just so glad. Yeah, see if you could send it again, because I didn't see it on my phone and I didn't see it through the app. Because sometimes, you know, I don't know. Oh, it didn't send? Okay. I'll go ahead and play. Well, I'll wait for it, because I want to hear what he said. So if you're with us, we are just switching gears for just 1 second. We're going to give our little Idaho 4 minds, you know, a break for a second. And we're going to, oh, there it is. And we're going to see what Alex Murdoch said in trial today, because apparently he says something really good to where he told on himself. And we love that. Well, he almost told on himself. How am I going to play this? Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. How do I do this without... I'm trying to figure out how to open it. Oh, look at that. Okay, that didn't work. Just kidding. Okay. I'm trying to share it a different way. Just give me a 1 tiny second. I guess I could play it like this. It just shows some, just like, it just shows your
Yesterday I got out of there.
Oh.
I did.
Okay, maybe I'll just have to play it like this. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let me see what I can do here. I'll just do it like this, I guess. Okay, I'm going to play it real quick. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Testified yesterday. Okay. I got out of there. I did. Why'd you get out of there so quick, Mr. Murdoch? Because it was chaotic, it was hot, and I was getting ready to do exactly what I didn't want to do. You were getting ready to do what you didn't want to do? That's correct. Yeah. I was getting ready to sweat. I was getting ready to work.
Was he talking about like the night of the crimes? I'm gonna listen to it one more time. Oh, he's sneaky.
Testified yesterday. I got out of there. I did. Why'd you get out of there so quick, Mr. Murdoch? Because it was chaotic, it was hot, and I was getting ready to do exactly what I didn't want to do. You were getting ready to do what you didn't want to do? That's correct. Yeah. I was getting ready to sweat. I was getting ready to work.
So was that when they were, so is that when he was, okay, because I'm trying to think of like when that would be, like when, is that when he was down, like at the kennels, he was talking about like he was going to be sweating like because he was going to be shooting people? Because he hasn't really, that's why I'm like, because he hasn't really messed up. Okay, so when he did the 8.5 hour live the other day, I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. If I would have not known Alec Murdoch prior to any of, like, if I wouldn't have known about his family, or if I wouldn't have known about, if I wouldn't have watched any court, and that would have been my first time watching court, he's good. He's good at talking. I mean, he's a lawyer, I know, but that's what makes him good. You can't hear me? Should be able to. Yeah, my volume's up. But yeah, but then he had pills on him, yeah. And then like, because like, well, and he did actually bring it up that, because I was thinking like, you know, that, I was thinking this whole time, I was like, I believe that, I forget what to say, sorry. I was trying to switch the screen so it wasn't just like my email on there. Now I forgot what to say, but that's okay. That's okay. He is a con artist. He's very good with his words. So what he's so good at, Teresa, is he's good at remembering exactly everything that's been going on in court, because the jurors don't have pencil and paper to be taking notes and to be like remembering stuff. Because if you're thinking about it, how many days are we on? 23rd, 4th, 5th, no, 26th? 26th day or something? So just think about that. You have all that information to retain. He will be asked a question and he'll be given it's supposed to be a yes or no answer. And he will straight say, no, that's not true. And then he'll go back and he'll say like something within like the court, like, you know, with, I don't know, he's making it look good to the jury. I think that's just my personal opinion. I know about like him and stuff. I'm not saying he's innocent or anything like that. I know about his past. I know about what he, you know, how he is, but I'm just saying if I would have went on it, just going right on with Alex on the stand, not knowing anything else, I would have been like, oh, maybe he's not so bad. You know, he's crying, he's snotting, but they are doing a fabulous job with the financial crimes. If I never hear about another financial crime in my life, that'd probably be a good day. Like really. So News Nation did do a report last night on, we actually already talked about this, but about the Idaho murder suspect phone, and it had the victim's photos on it. And we saw the Ashley Banfield segment. We saw the first one. It was with her and another gentleman. It was like 7 minutes long. Actually 7 minutes, 18 seconds long, I remember. And it was just over, it was just over the Brian Kohlberger's phone and what data was on there. And they were speculating, because that's all we can do right now, but they said they had a source or something that said that pictures of one of the Idaho 4 victims were found on his phone. So in the chat, a lot of people was like, oh, that must be Maddie. A lot of people said Maddie. And then we watched another clip right after that. It was like a 2-minute clip with Banfield, and she kind of confirmed that it was Maddie. So I just wanted to play the new News Nation clip for you, and then I'm just going to play the 2-minute clip at the end that just says like that I'm pretty sure it says it was Maddie. So I want to just listen to it for like the 5th time to make sure that my ears aren't deceiving me. Because I like doing that with you guys.
A new twist in the Idaho murders. Allegations.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. I might want to share this screen with you guys. And I'm going to drop the link for StreamYard one more time in the chat. If you guys ever do want to come up on StreamYard, though, just let me know. We can always do it on a members live, too, I think. There's a lot of stuff you can't do on a members live, though. I don't know if I can actually do that. I'd have to maybe send it through your email or something, but we could do it. We'll figure it out. Okay, so let me get this up here for you. Well, you would think I never streamed something before in my life. There it is. Thanks again for being here, everybody. I really, truly appreciate it. If you guys haven't, hit the like button. If you could, it really does help my channel grow. It's free to do. Subscribe to the channel. We love to have you. Would definitely love to have you. We're growing over here. We're here every day talking about true crime. Actually, let me see what the next couple of dates are, because I might not actually be here. My anniversary is coming up. And on my anniversary, oh wait, yeah. So Tuesday's my anniversary, and on Tuesday, I want every criminal out there to hear this. I said this during Christmas too. I just need a day off. That's my last day off was Christmas. We had one day. I haven't taken a day off since. I haven't had a day off all year. Love y'all. And I'll still be here talking about something. I just won't be talking about true crime. I just want all the criminals to be good for one day. Because my brain needs a break. But yeah, I don't know if we'll do anything on Tuesday, but sometimes, sometimes they listen. But no, like I think it was either New Year's or it might have been New Year's right after it was right before Brian got arrested, I think. It was something. It was a day and it was really, really like quiet. It's our 7th year. He's put up with me for 7 years. Can you believe that, guys? I suckered him. I got him good. So I'll go ahead and play this for you. And then, so our anniversary is 7 years. So we usually like celebrate. So it's like copper and wool or something. So I don't know what we're going to do, but I did get him a cute card. I would read it to you guys, but he's on. I haven't got an OnlyFans, new and old movies, but if I ever did, I probably would quit YouTube. No, they would actually kick me out. I better keep my YouTube gig. They kick me out. Anniversary with Vincent. Yes. 7 years. I can't believe it. We literally met 7 years ago. We haven't been away from each other since. So maybe we'll just go stay like at a hotel or something, get away for the night. But yep. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and play this one for you guys. And then I'll play the shorter clip too.
A new twist in the Idaho murders. Allegations accused murderer Brian Kohberger had photos of one of the victims. They were allegedly on his phone when he was arrested. Kohberger is accused of fatally stabbing 4 University of Idaho students last November. He was arrested more than a month after the crime in his Pennsylvania hometown. Caitlin Becker, senior reporter with the Daily Mail, has been following this case closely, joins us live. Thank you for being here, Caitlin. So there's this new development today. There are reports of Kohberger having these numerous pictures of one of the victims on his phone. Is this looking more like a potentially targeted attack?
Well, from the jump, law enforcement said that this was a targeted attack, but they were never specific as to who the targeted victim was or whether or not it was the house itself that was targeted. Now, all along my research and my reporting, it seemed more and more likely that one of the female victims was the intended target. And this latest information just sort of further bolsters that theory. Everything that we've learned so far leads us to believe that Brian Kohberger, the suspect, allegedly stalked the house several times, up to 12 times, according to the police affidavit, and according to sources, followed all 3 of the female victims on social media. So it does not surprise me to find out that he allegedly had these photos of one of the girls on his phone.
That's right. And Caitlin, we don't know yet which one of the victims he had these photos of, allegedly had these photos of. But what does this say about his potential fixation on at least one of the victims?
It makes a lot of sense to me based on everything I know about this case. The murders were very methodical. He allegedly slipped in and slipped out in less than 20 minutes. He basically went directly up to that 3rd floor, allegedly committed those 2 murders, then down to the 2nd floor and out the door. It seems to me that the target was likely on the 3rd floor. We know that the family of Kaylee Gonsalves, who was murdered on that 3rd floor, has said as much as well, that her father believes that she was likely the intended target. And throughout this investigation, it seems like Kaylee does keep coming up as a likely target, but you also have to remember that she was killed next to her best friend, Maddie Mogan, in the very same bed. And it was next to Maddie's body where that knife sheath was dropped. And that could indicate that that was the spot that the killer initially pulled the knife out of the sheath, and maybe that was the intended target.
Right, and as you mentioned Kaylee Gonsalves' family, and again, her father saying that she did have those defensive wounds. Do we know, Caitlin, if the photos were downloaded from social media or they were actually taken with the camera?
We don't know that I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a mix of both. And I have to tell you, I was at the crime scene and I spent a significant amount of time around the house. And depending on where you stand, you have a clear vantage point into every single window in that home. So it is very plausible that someone outside of the home could have photographed one or more of these girls inside of their home with them having no idea. The way this house is positioned kind of left them like sitting ducks.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below.
Okay, so this one actually came out before Ashley Banfield came out last night with her two interviews. So I wanted to play this one for you guys again because last night on our live, we figured out that it was Maddie, and allegedly it was Maddie's phone. In fact, Brian Kohlberger allegedly had Maddie Mogen's pictures on his phone. To us, it seemed like it was taken off of her Instagram, and saved. A lot of people were saying well, maybe it was just saved in his cache or whatever it's called. I think it has an E on the end, so I think that's why I say cache. But, and that's wrong. I know it is. But anyways, I think that he was physically saving these pictures. If you're scrolling through TikTok on a random Tuesday night, your phone, to me, is not going to collect every single person's TikTok you scrolled through. The ones you didn't watch, the ones, it's just going to collect the data from the ones that you watched or the ones that maybe you watched halfway through. I just don't see, that would be too much for your phone to collect and store. There would be, I don't know, it would just be so full. But yeah, but I heard that, but on the and it'll say it on the next one that he had he could have had upwards of, there was more than one, but there was multiple, but they didn't give an exact number of how many pictures he had. I think it's very creepy. I'm wondering how the only thing I can think of is the only way they was able to make the difference between it being Maddie and not Kaylee, because a lot of their pictures, they are photoed together, is she had to have had other pictures where she was by herself or maybe with Jake or something. It says the Mad Greek manager denies Burger Boy was ever in the restaurant, but we may have that debunked by BK's credit card activity. Manager may have never seen him, but wrong to 100% deny. You're 100% correct on that one, Becky. We said that last night too. I said, a lot of times servers know their patrons more than the owners do. I know growing up, my mom worked at a pizza place. She worked Monday through Friday, 11 to 4. She worked the buffet portion of it. It was just for her to get out of the house, do something. And she knew everybody, their name, their backstory, their drink order, their whatever they wanted to eat, all that. But if you were to go to the manager and be like, who is this person? They would be like, I don't know. Have you seen him before? I don't know. It's not as, I feel like server, I don't know. I was a server for 8 years. So I feel like servers know. They can know. I'm not saying all the time, but they can know a little bit more sometimes than even the owners do. Because the owners are always running around through the kitchen and doing things like that as well. So they're not always just always up front. So this one is going to be this is going to be the Ashley Banfield one. It's only 1 minute and 38 seconds. And this is the one where she kind of confirms that it was Maddie, in fact.
So I have some additional reporting to add to this tonight. New and unique reporting that News Nation has discovered, and it has to do sources close to the investigation telling us that the person who is featured on Brian Kohlberger's phone, the female victim who was featured on Brian Kohlberger's phone, is the same person that he was reaching out to on social media. And also that the photos were not taken by Brian Kohlberger. They were downloaded off of that victim's Instagram. So he had taken the pictures from that victim's Instagram. And then I also have this reporting that Brian Kohlberger followed both Kaylee and Maddie on Instagram, but Kohlberger liked every one of Maddie's photos. Maddie's on the right. Her best friend Kaylee's on the left. Koberger had liked all of Maddie's photos compared to liking just a couple of the ones on Kaylee's account. He followed both, but he liked all of Maddie's, and compared to liking just a couple of them on Kaylee's account. So that may give us a little bit more insight as to potentially who it was that he had downloaded and kept on his phone, which female victim's pictures were on his phone. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find.
It's just kind of strange that they've shifted from it being maybe Kaylee was the intended target to now being more of Maddie because of the pictures being found on the phone and stuff. Because in the beginning, it seemed like with Mr. Gonzalez even saying like he didn't have to go upstairs. I think he even said he thought his daughter was the intended target. So yeah, his focus was definitely more, I believe, on Maddie, which, I mean, it's all sad. But I told you guys this last night. Maddie, it's just, I don't know, there's something about her. I feel like Kaylee was more of the, like, the bigger sister, the protector, and then Maddie was more of, like, the one that needed protecting. And so that's just sad. And it's sad that, like, she had this boyfriend and this life, and, you know, she didn't think about this guy. She probably didn't even see the messages. He liked their Spotify too. That is weird. I don't even have a Spotify. That was like a new trend. It was like, show your Spotify list. And I was like, I don't have one. I'm a Pandora person. I agree with that too. Becky said my personal theory. She said, which is no more informed than any of yours. Just a disclaimer. I feel like if Kaylee had worse injuries, it may have been pure anger that she was there in the way. Yeah, I think that too. And I think that somebody pointed this out. I can't remember. It might have been actually just a minute ago. The not News Nation, but the other girl from the Daily Mail. But she said that the knife sheath, you know, she made this point that the knife sheath was found underneath Maddie's leg. If he started with his intended target, maybe that's why the knife sheath was under her leg. Now that to me made sense. Maybe he liked sassy. Oh, she definitely was sassy. And you know what? It's making me giggle a little bit because do you remember the food truck video with Maddie, and she's bumping into people because she's kind of tipsy. She's cute. I'm sorry, but she's cute. She's only 21. She like bumps into people. Like, it's sad now, but it's funny at the same time, but I could just see her totally bumping into him and just not even looking his way because she was bumping into those other people, just not even realizing that she was doing it. You know, she was just having fun. That was me at 21, running into everyone. Oh, my playlist is insane. I wonder who they will call first up to like be a witness. Oh, maybe it was laying next to her leg. I thought it was under her leg. Like, I thought it was like, for some reason when I pictured it half under her leg and then like half, let me see it, like what I pictured in my head. Because I don't think that they said it was under her leg. I may have said that. That may have been me. Yeah, it was on the bed laying next to it. So next to her leg. So what I was thinking in my mind when I read that, I was thinking for some reason, like, it was laying on, I don't know how to explain it. Like under her leg, but like beside it at the same time. Do you know, like, in my head, that's what, like when I read it, that's what I thought. I didn't think of it being like just placed beside her. I don't know why. But I don't know why, but I did. Yeah, I may have said underneath of her. That might have been me. If that was me, that was my mistake. I think that was all I really had to show you tonight. Let me see what else I got up here. I just need to get rid of some of these windows. Maybe I can actually shut down my computer tonight. I always have so many tabs up for other lives. And we already know, I do have a live on Idaho tomorrow. I have a little, like just a little live. And then Sunday I'm doing Murdoch. Maybe tomorrow we'll do Murdoch. I don't know. We'll think about it. Because I do want to see those documentaries. Really bad. Like the Netflix ones. Because I heard that they're really good. I saw like a clip of it. So. Where did they, for Alec Murdoch, where did they stop with him today? Because, I know that they didn't want any separations. Do you know what I mean? And they're questioning where like they go home for the weekend. They didn't want that to happen. I'm just reading your guys' comments. Oh, he's off the stand now? Oh, he's done? Oh, I'll have to go back. I think I missed the last hour, maybe. I don't even think it was the whole hour. I was at the mall and it went on break and I was mad because I was like, I was going to listen while I was at the mall. And then I forgot to turn it back on. Rebuttal witness time now. Wow. I wish I could see those jurors' face, those jurors, as Nancy would call them. Wish I could see those jurors' faces as they left the courtroom today. Did I hear somewhere that I heard that there might have been like a couple of jurors that had tears in their eyes? Yeah, I need to go back and watch. I'll have to listen to Nancy. Nancy will give me she'll give me the scoop. I'll have to listen. She probably came out with the podcast you already know. No, Judge Newman told Jim Griffith to sit down. I'll have to watch that. That's funny. That's really funny. So I think maybe Nancy did. Maybe it was something I was watching today, but maybe it was like she was doing commentary on Alec Murdoch, and it was so funny. It was so funny just to listen to her doing that. Because she kept calling him Alex Murdoch, Alex Murdoch. And I was like, man, I know, I missed you guys too. I had to go to the doctor, which, I mean, that doesn't take too long, but I was feeling it. And then Vincent was working like from home and he had to be on a phone call the whole time. So I literally had to be quiet. And then I just like left the house for a little bit and I was going to spend money because I was like, I want to go spend some money. I haven't spent money in a long time. I mean, I have spent a lot of money on this stuff, but I was going to go buy myself something nice and then I didn't. I couldn't do it. I'm like, I didn't want to. I didn't want to do it. I couldn't find anything. So he was starting to trip on his lies. Oh, wow. No, oh, it was the best day ever. Oh, okay. I'll have to watch it. The officer went up to the judge and whispered something. And went, oh. I saw that they took a couple recesses, it seemed like today. I mean, like a little more than usual. Man. Yeah, I heard a little bit of it. And there was a lot of court TV was like they were coming out with videos like to kind of catch you up. But I'll have to go back. I'll have to check it out. But I am going to jump off of here. It's almost 11. I didn't realize it was that late. Go spend some time with Vincent. There's too many lies to keep straight for him. Yeah, there's too many. But if you guys could like the video, if you guys are watching this on a replay, I always forget to say this in the beginning. Hashtag replay for me if you would. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. I would love to know them. I do read the comment section. Be nice down there. Don't hurt my feelings. Actually, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It gets me fired up. How do you use my channel to do live court? Oh, have to use your channel to do live court? Yeah, I know that like Court TV and stuff was streaming it and everything. Oh gosh. Was he calling Paul? Paul. That's gonna be my firstborn's name. I'm stealing it. It's gold. It was gold when the prosecution said, I've never heard you call your son Paul in any interview before. Well, Maggie called him Paul, and Buster called him Paul. Oh, I called him Paul. No, y'all didn't. Nobody went by Paul at 20-some years old. He went by Timmy. If he had a drunk alter ego named Timmy, he would have just named him Paul. He was smacking his lips. Oh God, I won't have to be able to handle it. Okay, well, I love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow on the live. It'll probably be tomorrow at 8:15. So if you guys don't get the notification, that's why. Just make sure you guys are subscribed and all of that good stuff. And I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.